Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, everyone. God bless. God bless from CT. So what's CT like? Cincinnati or something? You gotta let me
I think
know.
Connecticut.
Connecticut is a CT is Connecticut. Blessings and welcome. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for coming on, joining us tonight. Let me know where you guys are coming from so that I can shout you out, give you like a blessing, a hey, a hello. Let me know that you are on here. Welcome, welcome, you guys. It's an honor for us to finally be on to do this broadcast that we were supposed to do from a while back. So, welcome, 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 you guys. Hello, good evening from Arkansas. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Arkansas. You don't pronounce that.
Oh, okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Trinidad. Hello, Trinidad. Welcome on tonight. Blessings. Glad you are able to come on from Freeport, Bahamas. A special shout out, Bahamas. Yes, welcome, you guys. Glad to have you guys on here tonight. Let's just give some folks time to join in, time to hop in. Colorado's. Colorado is in the house. How do I get your coaching? Just go to my website, empowerwise.com. Everything is on the website. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Who else from Seattle? Seattle is in the house. Hello, New York City. Hello, New York City. Welcome on the broadcast tonight. Alabama is in the house. God bless you. Thank you for joining, Seattle. I see you, Seattle. Thank you for joining tonight. Blessings, blessings. Glad to have you guys on tonight. Oh, thank you so much. I tried.
You don't have to try. Stop it.
Washington is in the house. Hello, Washington. Thank you for joining tonight. God bless you. We are excited to be on tonight to just come on here and talk about a topic that is very dear to our hearts, and I know that very sensitive topic for a lot of people, and that's talking about the dealing with the child from infidelity. So we're glad to be on here to talk about this. I did a video. The last time I did a video was a couple of years ago, and so there's so much
On that topic.
on that topic. I did a video a couple of years ago on that topic. So much has changed since then. The way I feel, my perspective, my outlook. And, both of us now, we wanted to come and share with you guys. And I know that some of you are dealing with this same, sensitive topic, having to deal with a child or children from infidelity. So we're here to encourage you, inspire you, let you know that all is not lost. So we're glad to be on here tonight. And of course, I know you guys know me, but I want to say a special welcome to the Mr. Woodside. Thank you, Mr. Woodside, for joining us tonight.
You're welcome.
All right, all right. I see some more people are coming on. Some more people are joining. You guys, let me know where you're coming from so that I can shout you out. We're so honored to have you on the broadcast tonight, this blessed Saturday. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us tonight. And so we're so honored. Blessings, blessings. Now, for those of you who have never, heard me talk on the topic, I'm always here to inspire and encourage people in the fight for their marriage and family. And one thing that I've experienced in the fight for marriage is having the child or the children as a result of infidelity. And of course, I know that many of you are in the position, I was in that position too, where I found out that my husband is having a child with someone else. I was not happy about that. As a matter of fact, I don't know anybody who is happy about that, right? That was very hurtful. It gave me it stabbed me in the heart, stabbed me in the back. And I decided that, you know what? I don't want nothing to do with this child. I can forget. I said this is what I said to myself. I can forgive my husband. I can accept what you have done. We can get through that. But as for me, I don't want nothing to do with this child. In fact, the first time I saw the baby in my mind, because my husband was like, do you want to hold him? And in my mind, I was like, no, No, and in my mind, I'm thinking like I just wish the baby would drop on the concrete. And I know some of you like, oh my gosh, woman of God, that's what you was thinking. Hello, you don't know what comes out of a bitter well and hurt people, hurt people. So yes, that's what I was thinking. So
Green Bay Bones.
at the first time that I saw him, I wasn't happy to see him. Some evil thoughts is going through my mind, and that's because I was hurt and I was in pain. And so where do you go where the presence of a child, right? A presence of a child, infidelity in itself is enough to handle. It's a big pill to swallow. How do we want to work on our marriage, but how do we deal with the extra? And so as time passed, I decided that, what? I'm going to give this a shot. And me making this decision to give it a shot didn't mean that everything was going to be perfect. It was hard. It was difficult. And the child, now I'm going to talk in two parts because we have two children as a result of infidelity, but they came in our lives at different periods. Okay. So if I'm gonna be talking a lot, about one, and then we're gonna get to where we get to the second one. Okay. So I now that I'm saying I'm forgiving my husband, and I want to move on, I want to heal, I want to grow, I want to move past this. I said, you know what? I'm gonna try this.
Can I put a disclaimer in there?
Disclaimer.
Can we put a disclaimer in there that it all happened around the same era? So the boys are about the same age.
Yeah.
Just to make it clear that it's not like I cheated on her and then we were good and then I went back and cheated on her again. No, it all happened in the same era. We just found out about the second one years later, just to make that clear.
Yeah, just to make that disclaimer. So we knew about one from he was a baby, and then one we found out about years later. And so I decided now everything about this starts from you making a decision, right? The decision that you decide whether it's a good decision or a bad decision, that's going to determine your path, right? If you decide that you're not, oh, I can't do this, I ain't doing this, then guess what? It's going to be difficult for you. The healing process, it begins with a conscious decision. And I decided that I was going to, give this a try. And, my husband and I, we sat down and we made some decisions as far as what we were going to do. And of course, many of you may be in this place where your husband is just not so open about, how they're going to handle it, or he may be in a place where my husband was, right?
Yeah, I was just
You
going
want
to
to,
say that.
yeah,
Yeah, so initially that's where I was as well. I was, you know, it's my child. I can take care of my child no matter what. I had a don't care attitude. I wasn't a change man at the time. So if your husband is going through that era, that's the same thing that I went through. I don't care what. I can take care of my child even if you leave me. Saying things that really wasn't true, and I don't really feel that way.
or you probably felt away at the time.
Right? Yeah. At the time, I probably felt that way. This don't care attitude.
Yeah.
Like I really don't care. But over time, and with the help of Holy Spirit and change, you realize that your family, your wife is just as important as your child. So that's when I made the decision that, whatever is best for my family is best for all of us together.
Yeah. And so we were at a place where I understood because I have kids for him as well, and he loves his children. I was having nightmares. Okay. It was giving me nightmares. His position, his posture with, the children that I had for him. I already had planned in my head how it was going to go. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and thinking the thoughts of he's going to abandon my children, thoughts that he's going to abandon me, he's going to put the outside child first, and all these thoughts were just running through my head, and the thoughts that were running through my head, like we weren't even at that point yet. I was already thinking about when this child was, a teenager, and how he's gonna neglect my children and all this stuff like that. But I was getting ahead of myself. Now, when he had this don't care attitude, like that hurt me. That hurt me. And I could have, given into the things that he was saying, but I had to push through that. I had to fight through that because I already made up in my mind that I wanted my family. So it was difficult, and the things that I had to deal with, as far as his stance and the things that he was saying, his child, and he didn't care what nobody said. They were painful and they were hurtful, but I had to move past that. And so, we were at a point where we had made a conscious decision of how we were going to handle things. And unfortunately, he didn't follow through with our agreement. Now, here is the thing that I know a lot of people deal with. You're sitting down, you're having that conversation with your husband, you guys are making this well thought through plan, and your husband is not following through with it, right? So, you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, the follow through, or what you may have been thinking at that time.
Well, you can't prepare yourself for something like this. Let me just be clear about that. You could never prepare yourself for something like this on the husband side and on the wife side. So it's not something that they pull you aside and say, hey, this is, if something like this happens, this is what you do. So
It don't come with a manual.
yeah, it don't come with a manual at all. So you trying to figure out stuff as you go, you know. But me as a person, I love hard. Like when it comes to my kids, I just love hard. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love hard. So it helped me. It made me at that time think that, no one's going to stop me from caring for this child no matter what.
Yeah. So here is that point of how do things change, right? How do things change? We want to take control of things. We want to, because we have the sense of entitlement, right? We have the sense of entitlement of we have been hurt, so it have to go our way or no way. So, and then when it don't go our way or how we think it should be, we hurt again. But there was a point in time where I realized that I had to just pray about it. And so I stopped trying to make plans. I stopped trying to, give out ultimatums and say how we gonna do and how we ain't gonna do. I left it. I see someone said that my spirit is just tired. I was just tired, right? I was at the point where I was tired. I didn't know what to do because, like he said, it don't come with a manual. Nobody can prepare you how to deal with it. And so, one of the things that was very important at that time is prayer. And I know at this point, you all know you all are tired of people telling you all pray. let's
Prayer,
be let's
prayer
be
changes
honest.
things.
Prayer changes things, right?
Absolutely.
Y'all know y'all already at that place where so soon as someone tell you all just pray, you already want to shut down because you feel as if prayer isn't working. But let me tell you something, prayer actually does work. It does work.
Absolutely.
And I just released it, the whole how I'm going to deal with it, how I'm going to handle it. And I just started to pray about it. And I started to pray for my husband to give him wisdom on how to deal with it. Because really and truly, how I was reacting, how I would react was based on him. And he needed wisdom in order to deal with it because I wasn't going picking up baby, and I didn't have to have fellowship or communion with the baby. So that was something that he needed to do. And I just prayed and I asked the Lord to give him wisdom. Now, here is an encouragement. You can't say one prayer. And then one time I prayed for wisdom and then he got wisdom. You got to pray and release it to God and believe that God is going to work. And so my husband came at a place where he made a decision. Want to talk about that decision you made?
What decision? No, I ain't joking. Yeah, I came to a point where I made a decision that, in order to make my wife feel comfortable, whatever it takes to make her comfortable, whether it be not communicating for a while only bringing the child around when she was comfortable, giving her time to deal with it. I just came to a point where I was like, you know what, Lord, I can do whatever it takes to make her comfortable. And it worked out. It worked out for the better because she felt as if, okay, he's giving me that choice. He's showing me that love because he's putting me first and allowing me to make these decisions.
Mhm.
And when we got to that point where I was like, you know what, I put my wife first and we could deal with it, then everything started to fall in place. Everything was in order. The respect was then gained because it was now in order.
Right. And I know that many of your husband, your husband may not be at this place, and let me tell y'all something. We got to deal with this next part because the other woman, she don't want the baby around you. Right. I don't know if you guys are dealing with it, but you may be in a position where the young lady or whoever, the other woman, she don't want the baby around you. So what do you do? Again, praying for wisdom, right? Because your husband have to come to a place where he realize how important you are, and you have to be patient in prayer, because that means, okay, God, change him from his heart, change, open up his eyes, because he have to see this.
Right.
you know we had counseling, and my husband did one year counseling, and that was it. And the counseling did not work. The counseling did not work. And so when he came to this decision where he say, honey, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. Well, of course I was shocked.
Yeah, but see,
I
it,
was I was shocked.
it came to prayer though, because the Lord changed my heart. He changed how I felt about it, my mind, how I thought about it, because initially my mindset was, I don't care, you know, and then I had a change of heart that, hey, you should care.
Yeah.
This woman been with you all these years. She always had your back. She always loved you. She loved you throughout, despite it all. You should care.
Hmm.
And honestly and truly, when I decided that I was going to care, I didn't know if it was going to work out. I didn't know if she's going to accept it and say, you know what, yes, or she's going to say, no, I don't have nothing to do with your son. But I gave it a shot that, listen, I can put you first and I can allow you to make decisions with me, and I can hide nothing from you, which is very important. Though Toy hasn't mentioned that, but keeping the secrets makes it worse. Keeping secrets about your son, when you seeing him, what you doing. When we shared it together, it was always better.
Right, right. And we were at a place where, first of all, this whole new arrangement between my husband and I didn't sit well with the other woman, and she was not happy about that. And then being vindictive, or trying to withhold the child and all that stuff like that. Like, that's the nature of the beast, and if you're going through that right now, then you have to stand your ground. And even in the midst of that, because sometimes, especially the posture of your husband's heart for his children, it is very easily that they can be manipulated, from by the other woman with the child. The child could be used as a point of manipulation. So you definitely want to pray for, covering, wisdom, protection, so that they can be able to get through this. Now, when my husband said that, whatever you want to do, with I'm gonna wait on you, I was shocked. I was shocked because that was not his stance in the beginning.
Not
And
at
he
all.
was far from that, being in that place where you tell me, if you don't accept the child, then I'm just gonna wait on you. And he said something to the effect that this is the bed that I make up, then I have to lie in it. And I know some people may think that's a harsh position, but you have to realize that the family comes first, right? The family comes first. And the Lord had to open up his eyes to realize that. Sometimes you may want to be tempted to tell your husband what is right and what is wrong. Don't do that.
And I was just about to say that. And she never, although she said that just now, she never told me your family should come first. This
Yeah.
isn't something that she said. It's just something that the Lord opened my eyes up to. She never bombarded me with that, oh, you need to think about us. You don't, it never was nothing like that.
Right. Yeah. Here is one thing, because we know that the enemy is present, right? And you have to realize that the enemy is the prince of the power of the air, the airways. So when you speak something, by the time it's that reach your husband, that he can't even receive that in the way that you had said it or the way that you wanted it to be delivered,
That's
because the
facts.
enemy already intercept that information, done
Mhm.
this, he already distorted that. So by the time as your husband get that, it's twisted.
An offense sets in, yeah.
Offense, he gets offended. It's like, oh my gosh, she only say that because she trying to control me, she's mad. So you can't not even tell your husband, okay, this is the right way to do it and this is the wrong way to do it. You have to keep this in prayer. So so important. And so now here we are, fast forward. And this is something that I write in my book. When wives fight families, when the trial, the travail, and the triumph. If you do not have a copy of the book, I encourage you guys to get a copy. Just to kind of get some of the details, because as bad as the situation was, there was a gap when we weren't even involved with the child, because I thought that that's what I needed. I thought that the distance would make me better, right? Of course, we had relocated, but at first I was happy with the no communication, no care. I was happy with that. But let me tell you something, as I began to really, in that season of my life, just draw closer to the Lord, like this child was always on my mind. His well being was always on my mind. Praying for him was always on my mind. And then there was a time when he moved in with us. How was it, him moving in with us the first time? You want to tell them, the position, how you felt, getting into this new space with, bringing your family together.
It was overwhelming. It was new. It was kind of awkward, just being honest. Um, but it was a relief because I want to be in my child's life. I don't want to miss first things that's happening. I want to make sure and steer him in the right way, in the right direction. So I want to love him. So it was kind of bittersweet because I know I was hurting her on a daily basis because she has to deal with this. We already been through this fight for our marriage, on the verge of divorce and separating and all of this. And then to bring a child into it just makes it worse, just makes it more complicated. So, like I said initially, no one gives you a manual for it or a book for it, but I was just relieved that he was in my presence so that I could love him. And I just wanted her to accept that I'm the type of man that I want to love my children despite whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was amazing. I know y'all think I'm only saying this because it's my wife, but this woman is amazing. You hear me? Let me slide something in here off topic. If I never say this on live before, this is an angel that the Lord allowed me to live with temporarily when I on earth. You hear me? This woman is an angel because she accepted him like he was one of her sons. To this day, they live with us. Both of them live with us, and they love her to death.
Mm-hmm.
So because I decided to put my family first and to put my wife first, the end result is we living in a peaceful home, and they'll do whatever for her.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So, now when we brought him into our home, it was still like that gap that I thought was relief. That gap where I thought that, he out of our lives, no communication. When he came back, it was like it was the emotions, the thoughts, everything was like it started all over again. It was like we never had that gap. And I was at this place where I regret that space of not caring for him, not communicating with him, not being in his life. I regretted that, right? Society paint this picture of the children, we ain't got to deal with them. We ain't got to put them down. They're not our responsibility. Let me tell you something. Anyone with a good heart
That's a key.
will get past that. And for any of you that are dealing with children out of infidelity, you know, I always tell people that, you want to, you need your space, you need your head space, you need to heal, you got to be in a mentally good space. But let me tell you something, that gap will not help you. That will not help you. So when he came back into our lives, everything started up all over again.
Hmm.
Every single thing started, all the memories, all this, it started up all over again. And so I had to learn how to heal in his presence. And that helped me. Him being there helped me, because I always was concerned about, well, he looked like his mom, so that was already that was already trouble for me, right? He looked like his mom, and I'm thinking, because
But
they're in the close age.
what I think it helped you with also was initially Toya mentioned that you have these imaginary things going on in your head that he can not treat me well. He's gonna put the outside son before my kids, and because he was there and she could see that that is not how it was gonna go, it helped her because
Mhm.
instead of imagining these things, she's living it now. She see, hold on, there was just imaginary things that
Mhm.
was going on. That's not what the reality is.
Right.
The reality is my husband loves me and he's gonna love me and my kids, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So the fear of the unknown, and I think we are all going to face the fear of unknown, but it's going to be important for us to just try your best, right? Try your best to just keep it in the moment, and not let your thoughts go too far ahead. Because sometimes we would want to try to prepare ourselves for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do that.
Mm-mm.
You cannot plan, the baby ain't reach yet. You cannot plan for
Oh,
how you're going to be when they are toddler,
mm-mm.
right?
You could
you
try.
you you can't you could try, but you're going to fail, because you don't know. You have to be in that moment. And so when I was in that moment of having to care for him when he was sick, right? Having to, make sure that I'm treating them equally, because that was on my head, you guys, because y'all know society done get us messed up. We done see some step parents do some crazy things. So I was just, it was on the top of my head, making sure, being conscious that I treat him well, right? So now here it is. Fast forward, like that's 2016 now. Okay, so fast forward about a year after the first child was living with us. We were already mending our marriage. We were already in a good place. We have already gotten over what I thought was the hump of ultimately being in this place where, the child is not in our home, or he is in our lives. And then what? You get a call.
We get a call about my second son that there may be a chance that you have a second son. What a blow. What a pill to swallow. We supposed to be in a good place. They hit us from left field.
Whew, it was a blow. And at the time, the child was already, how old he was? Like 12, 11.
11, 11.
The child was 11 years old. Can you imagine that? The child was 11 years old when we found out the possibility of my husband being the father. And again, I was so torn all over again. I was broken all over again. I felt like, God, I cannot. How much more you want me to take, God? How much more, right? And so that was devastating for me, because, and I found that out at the time when I just started ministry. I know many of you guys, just started to, watch my channel about a year ago, but I was doing this from like 2016. And from I shortly after, I started ministering to wives, and I mean wives, a lot of wives. And then comes this news of my husband is the father of another child. So I was like broken all over again. And I stopped wearing my wedding ring. Like, I was like, God, I don't even know why.
But
Why? Oh, hold on, let me finish.
I want you to talk about your recovery time, though.
Yeah, I don't get to that. I don't get to that. See, that's gonna be important. So I said, God, why? And I don't blame everything on the devil this and the devil that. And I'm like, Lord, why you allow me to step out here ministering to wives, and I don't even know I can stay married to this man again. I was serious. This was the most serious I thought about leaving this man when we found out about about the second child, right? And the crazy thing about it is, I used to listen like Periscope all often, often, motivation teaching and all that stuff like that. And my husband, he was like, I was sinking in depression, and he pulled up this scope. I don't even know who the person was at the time. I didn't even know how, like, you even get to pull up this video, and he
Because I
can,
never used to be on
because he never
Periscope
used to
like
be
that.
on Periscope, but that's something I watch daily. So he pulled up this broadcast, and the woman of God, she's like, I don't know who this is for. Mind you, this is the first time I ever hear about this. I was only watching it because I wanted him to just leave me alone, because he keep on, come, baby, watch this. And so when I came on the broadcast, just laying down, drowning in my sorrow, the woman of God said, I don't know who this is for, but the Lord said that he had to uncover this secret. He had this to uncover this secret so that I can properly heal. Listen, I rise out of my bed of despair, and I was like, what? The Lord wanted me to properly heal. You guys, I want to tell you something. If you want to properly heal from this situation, you have to face it. You have to go through it.
You say that again.
You can't go around it. You can't go over it. You definitely can't go under it. You got to go through it. You got to face those times, right? Like I said, when the child came back in my life, it was the gap that I wasn't facing stuff. Now I had to face things, right? And as you face them, you're gonna heal. Is it going to be easy? It is not going to be easy. But as long as you make up a conscious decision, make a conscious decision that you're going to get through this, you will. So the first time it took no, listen, it took about 9 years, okay? Because from the child was a baby to the gap in his life where we was absent, it had to be probably about 6 years. So when we saw him again, he was 9 years old. Okay, the last time we saw him, he was a toddler. The next time we see him again, he was 9 years old. Okay, and I say, God, I don't have another 9 years to give to accept child number two. I say, God, I don't have 9 years. I don't have 9 years to be absent, and I don't want nothing to do with this and trying to drag my foot on it. I say, God, I don't have 9 years. And so I pick up, my terry pillow, crying, thoughts of how and when this happened and who this happened with. I pick all those stuff up, and I made a conscious decision that I was going to move on. And it took about 30 days, probably about 30 days to 3 months to be in a place where I was in conversation with the child, the new child, the second child, being okay, talking to him every day, checking on his well-being, communicating with his
Hold
mother.
on, I when you pass that,
Okay.
Don't skip God now.
Okay.
Don't skip God. From 7 to 9 years of recovery to less than 90 days.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a little bit.
And here is where, if you're going through this, right? Everything is going to be dependent on you, the decision that you make. You gonna cry, right? You are going to feel that pain of the presence of the child. You're going to have to deal with the other woman. Let me tell you something. Here, the other woman, you cannot dictate or determine how she gonna act. She may be crazy. She may have sense. If she crazy, listen here, you just pray and ask the Lord to give you wisdom to deal with her. If she gets sense, right? All you have to do is work it through. Because even dealing with the mother of the second child, I had to be civil and communicate with her. And I had to resist tripping on her, arguing with her, trying to find out when and how this happened. I had to resist that because I didn't even want to go back there. Okay? So you're going to have to make conscious decisions. In fighting for your marriage, there is conscious decisions that you have to make within yourself. If you say you can't,
You can't.
you can't. But if you say you could, then you could.
And you will.
And you will.
You will. We live in it. We live in it. We ain't just talking this. This our life.
Mm-hmm.
We live in it. These boys living with us now.
we
Both of
got we
them.
gotta we gotta get there. We gotta get there. Let me tell you all something. Both of them live with us. Okay? Both of them live with us. Now the story with the second child was really heartbreaking because he'd already, grow to know somebody else as his father. He already grew to know somebody else as his father all these years, and then find out that that's not his father. That was difficult for him.
Mm-hmm.
That was difficult for him. And can you imagine a child having to go through that? And so, of course, I'm building a relationship, and he came to visit. Next thing you know, he want to come live. Now, let me tell you all something. The decision for them to come to live with us, it was not an easy decision for me, because now you're talking about adding to my responsibility as a mother from 3 to 5. But let me tell you something. We get 3 children. Well, we get 3 children, or we got 3 of them almost 15. 2 15, one gonna be 15. So we gonna have 3 children the same age. And it is we all get along very well. Now, one thing that I want to talk about, though, for those of you who have children already, and now at a point where how do you integrate, your
Integration.
children? How do you integrate your children with the outside children in the wake of what's going on? Listen, your children is going to respond to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you hate, the children gonna hate.
Facts.
If you love, the children are going to love.
Absolutely.
I recognize that although my husband's children, the outside children, were not my blood children, they were blood to my children. They were blood to my children. And I made a vow that I refuse to let any of my children grow up and be at odds with each other. I refused. And I even had to flip it in my head. What if I was the one, who was dealing, on the flip side? Would I want my children to be rejected? Even though, it was, but I just said, would I want my children to be rejected? And no. And so, regardless of how I was feeling, I put my feelings aside. Listen, I cry in my shoulder. God help me to deal with this, you know, and now everybody loves each other. And I don't have, many of you may be wondering, like, how you gonna be able to deal with that. I Day to day, I don't even worry about, that's not a worry. you know as you go through the process, it's like every step that you go through, you're going to be, baggage is going to be coming off, weight is going to be coming off of your shoulder. Now, let me tell you all something. I always said that I wish that I was in their life from they were infants. That was if I had to turn back the hands of time, I guess that's one thing that I would have done. Always be in their lives. But God knows best. God knows best. God knows best. So listen, we want to take some questions right now. For those of you who I know, and here is the thing: a lot of you are not where we are, right? Y'all in where we are, but it's an encouragement to see the possibility, because God is not a respecter of persons. If we
Mm-hmm.
can go through this, if we could get out of this, it's possible for you. But it's gonna take work. You're gonna have to do the work
And not just get out of it, but live in peace.
and peace.
Like these boys is they's run around and go places and act like they've been together all their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like they never was separated. And it goes back to what Maltori was saying, but about love. Because she accepted them and showed them love, our sons accepted them and showed them love right off the bat. You know, they rearranged the whole house when they know their brothers was coming. go and get a bed and set it up for them when they know they was coming. So this is just an encouragement, and that's the only reason why I even come on these lives, because I just don't like my face up and and things. But if I could encourage one person, if I could get one wife to say, you know what, if I push through it, this could be the end result, that I live in a house of peace, then is worth it for me. And
Mhm.
that's why we're here, just to encourage you that it's gonna hurt, it's not gonna be easy. And like Mentoria mentioned, you may be dealing with a crazy white woman, or you may be dealing with woman with sense. And we deal with both.
Mature.
We deal with both. We
Yeah.
have both.
We've dealt with both. We have
We,
seen both
we've
sides of the
seen both
fence.
sides, and you just deal with it as it is. But the bottom line, the most important thing is that you make the child comfortable, because the child isn't responsible. And I want that to be clear to the world. No matter what mistakes us adults make, if a child comes in the picture, you can't take it out on the child. We don't even want to go back to the story of how some people in their community treated this child after he found out that I was his daddy and someone else is not his daddy, and how they switch on him. And to this day, he's talk about that, how that hurt him. You don't want to do that to a child. Don't hurt the child in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the end result. These kids can grow up, and how you can explain to this adult that I neglected you, treat you bad when you was young because of my feelings,
Mm-hmm.
when it wasn't even your fault.
Yeah. And another thing too, you guys have to realize is that it's another part of the fight, right? You found the whole reason why you're on here, you're dealing with this, is because you're fighting for your marriage. In the battle for your marriage, there are different levels, different fights that you have to fight, and it's just another fight that you have to fight. At the end of the day, you will be victorious. Now, I know a lot of people are concerned of, the pain that you have to go through. Let me tell you something. When you get cut, you don't throw away your hand, right? You don't cut off your hand and say, you don't want it no more. As you have to deal with the other woman, as you have to deal with your husband, you're gonna hurt, you're gonna get cut. But the important thing for you to do is, guess what? Clean up that wound, right? Bandage it up. You might have to change it, every so often. But you continue to do it until there is healing. There will be healing. There will be healing. I know that, there are so much concerns that we have. The most important thing for you to do is to intercede for change and transformation of your husband. It don't matter what the other woman is. It doesn't matter what she trying to do. If there is change and transformation in your husband, everything is going to be okay. So you can't focus on
The
how
other
she's
woman.
doing,
Mm-mm.
whether she's trying to use the child as, to keep a point of contact, whether she is trying to use the child to manipulate your husband. Don't worry about that. Focus on you interceding, spiritual warfare, because the battle is not against flesh and blood. No matter how much you face the other woman, the battle is not with her. The battle is with the principalities, the powers, and the rulers of this dark world in heavenly places. And as long as you understand your position as a wife and you contend with those demonic forces, you're gonna win. You're not seeing us here because I fight the other woman and I made my husband to understand. You see us here because of success in prayer. That's what it is. Because physically, I was incapable of fighting nobody, because I was dealing with a young baby myself. Physically, I wasn't able to. And of course, it doesn't come with a manual. As you go through this, let time pass. You focus on what you got to do as a wife. Because let me tell you something. The problem with many of you guys is that you don't know your authority.
Preach.
You do not know your authority. Once you understand your authority and you believe God, when you go to pray, you go pray in confidence. You go pray and you pray in confidence, and you know that there will be change.
Yes.
See, because a lot of times we depending on our flesh, the way we feel, you going to get tired. Hello, let me make this clear. You are going to get tired. I mean, how many y'all, listen, y'all go to work and get tired? Can I nobody goes to work like 9 to 5 and overtime and get tired? Nobody? Anybody? Some of us we get tired of dealing with these kids all day. But what you do, you just rest and you back at it again. It's the same thing with fighting for your husband in this situation. You get tired, you go and you rest. Okay? Now, anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? We would like to, tell us where you are. What is your struggle? And we would love to help you. Just give you a little bit, some insights and wisdom tonight. That's what we're here for tonight. We're committed to trying and helping you guys get through it. Like I said, we know that your husband is not at that place where he's so understanding. He's not there. My husband wasn't there. There was a point in my husband's life he wasn't there, but the power of a praying wife will get him there. Glory be to God. Someone say thank you for this live. Thank you for this live. To God be the glory. Thank Mr. Woodside. Mr. Woodside, thank you for this live. This is. He said, honey, I feel we need to do this. I feel, come on, said it. I feel we need to do this because I wanted to do this from then and I didn't do it. And listen here, I feel we want to do it. Listen here, while you guys are getting your questions together, I want to invite you guys to join my boot camp. My boot camp is coming up next month. And as many as you are in this place, in this position where you're fighting for your marriage and your family, you have to be well equipped. The reason why we're not winning the battle for our marriage and our family is because we're fucking equipped and we're being run down by the enemy. So I want to invite you guys to join my boot camp next month. November is going to be the last boot camp for the year. Right, it's going to be the last boot camp for 2021, and I want you guys to join in. I talk a lot about spiritual warfare. The boot camp is about spiritual warfare, just helping you to be equipped, even fighting for the situation with your husband and dealing with the baby. You have to be in the right posture so that you even when you get to a place where you're tired, you still regenerate. You get up and you get going again. Okay. What? This one? Okay.
Also, did Meltoria tell you guys that we're getting married? Did she tell you that we're getting married?
I did not tell you guys, but we are renewing our vows.
I popped the question. She said yes again.
And so we're going to make sure that we do a live broadcast so that those of you who are around the world, you can still have an opportunity to join us and experience the moment with us. Okay. So what did your husband do to make it clear he was putting you and your marriage first? He said so. He said so. He came, we after the fighting, the back and forth, I mean, we fought over this thing, okay? Physically fought over this thing. And I just was like, you know what? Whatever. I was like, whatever. And what happened was he came to me. He said, out of the blue, we wasn't even having a conversation or anything about it. He just came to me and he said, you know what, honey? This is what I'm gonna do. He said, I'm not gonna deal with this child anymore. Whenever you are ready, then that's when I will step in, no matter how long it takes. Whenever you are ready, when you feel that's what it was. He told me. Okay, he told me, so it wasn't up for debate. Okay, all right. So someone said, my husband thinks I'm not emotionally ready to meet the baby. Okay, that might be true, right?
How does she feel?
How do you feel? Are you emotionally ready? I mean, to be honest,
I don't think you could never be ready.
You could never prepare or get ready. It don't work like that. For me, before this baby came, man, listen here, I was like preparing my mind. I mean, we done been dealing with this. I've seen this girl for the 9 months. So I was like, when this baby coming in, it'll be no big deal. But let me tell you something. When my husband got that notification that that baby was here, I cried and 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 I cried. And then one day after she'd already had the baby, we saw her, and then it was like, okay, let's go see. And I was like, and I was looking at the baby, and inside I was crying, hurt. You could never be prepared. So just we pray, just pray that your husband exercise wisdom. You're not going to ever be ready. Create safe boundaries while still interceding for my husband. He has been in and out of every few months, coming home and saying he is done with the other woman. Then she manipulates him and going back. Okay, so here is the thing. When you have these things going on, it's all ammunition for prayer. Where you see he's being manipulated,
Keep it up. I want to
again,
comment on this one.
again, praying for wisdom and asking the Lord to help him to deal with it. And then to interceding when you're saying, I break the power of every spirit of manipulation, every spirit of Jezebel operating in my husband. I break the power of the enemy from over his life in the name of Jesus. You got to be strong in prayer.
And Ms. Paul, to comment on that too, from my perspective, it's a struggle. We talked about this before in another video. Um, Understand that your husband is dealing with these strongholds, and it's a struggle. It's not easy. That's why he's back and forth, because it's not easy when you're dealing with these principalities and these soul ties. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. But here's the bright side of it. As I look at it, as I'm out of it, the bright side of it is it means that your husband cares, mm-hmm. and he's trying to get out of it. So there's a silver lining to that, to what you're saying, that he's coming and going. We've seen a lot of husbands that don't come at all. No care in the world, don't show up, don't come at all. Just that your husband is making an effort, continue to pray for him and encourage him. Like, trust me, it's a fight. He coming.
Yeah, and then again, while I understand he still needs prayer, it's becoming psychologically damaging to our children. Our oldest does not even want anything to do with him. How can I set safe boundaries? Now, this thing about setting safe boundaries is out of your hands, right? Because you have absolutely no control over this. One thing that I did with my son is I involved him in believing and standing for his father, because he was able to see things that I didn't even see. But, I believe that our children respond to how we're acting. They listen to what we're saying. So I always involve my son, and you know what, Daddy, this what he is doing, is not right, but we got to pray for him. You got to speak positive, even about your husband, even in the midst of the chaotic situation that you're in. You have to speak positive. Don't worry. One day he is coming home and he is not going to leave. We got to pray for him. Don't worry. We got to believe God. We know that God is going to bring him home. Don't worry. This is how you have to speak, because our children respond according to us.
Yeah.
Because guess what? They love their father. They love their father. My children respond to how we respond. Okay? Okay, so let me see. Although my husband lived with the other woman, God said my fight is with his church pastor. They from the same tribe, and I am a foreigner. Okay, that may be deep. Yeah, maybe. So now that you have this information, you take this in prayer. This is, once you have the understanding of what you need to do and what you're fighting for and what you're fighting with, you take it in prayer. I know a lot of you guys, again, I know you don't like to hear pray, but you guys have to understand the power of prayer. You have to exercise prayer. You have to understand. And again, want to invite you guys to my boot camp, because I teach on prayer. I've dealt with a lot of people that had, I'm praying. But after the boot camp, it was a whole 360-degree turnaround, because, a 180 turnaround, because, wow, this is how I need to pray. All right. Someone said, that's my husband. He doesn't come around at all. It's been 2 years and 3 months now.
And see, this is what I was saying earlier with Miss Powell. You'll be shocked that some husbands ain't checking at all. I'm super excited that you even mentioned that your husband is making an attempt to come back. because some husbands don't check at all.
Mm-hmm. So someone is saying, my husband believes he has to stay with the other woman or he will damage the child. He doesn't see a way out, any word of wisdom.
Melinda, that's an excuse for him wanting to do mess.
Yeah. What
I just
deception.
being honest.
Yeah.
That's an excuse for him wanting to be with this woman and to use probably to use your kind heart because you know you have a kind heart towards the child. That's an excuse. He don't have to be with the other woman to take care of his child. Absolutely not.
Right.
He could be with his family and take care of the child.
Yeah.
So that's just an excuse.
I mean, you see many children grow up at single homes all the time. The dad living one way, but let me tell you something. Again, pray for wisdom. Lord, give him wisdom. Lord, open up his
Open his
eyes that he
eyes.
may see.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, let him not fall into the trap that the enemy has set for him. I need to do a prayer boot camp, So he wants the other woman, maybe.
Maybe that's the mindset he's in right
Maybe
now.
that's the mindset, and he feel obligated to her.
Right.
Cause see that too now can testify of a presence of a soul tie that he feel that he is obligated. Listen here, that's why you got to stand and pray and intercede to break that in the name of Jesus, right? My husband will like to know how to deal with his manipulative. Any advice? Okay, so this is going to be tough love. Because if you show that you can be manipulated, then you will be manipulated.
Yeah, my advice to your husband is to hold his ground, to stand his ground.
Mm-hmm.
I told them, listen, even to this day, you communicate to Maltoria, you communicate to my wife. If you have a problem with communicating to her, then don't talk to me, don't ask me for nothing for my son. You just got to stand his ground. Listen, this is my wife, this is who I love. And if you don't want to follow these rules, then the only person you hurting is your son.
Mm-hmm.
You hurting our son. That's all you're doing. You hurting our son. That's it. And when they realize that you could stand your ground and that you or his wife is priority, then they're gonna have to comply. Like, listen, if I want my son to be his daddy, if I want him to be in his life, if I want him to be around him, then I'm gonna have to go to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, and this go back to Notorious saying some of y'all don't understand the power y'all have. That's the other woman, you was the wife, that's your husband.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have no authority over him.
Yeah.
If she can't realize that, then she could kick rocks.
Yeah. My husband, when he laid down the ground rules and he said that what he was doing, and he already said if you need anything, message my wife. You need anything, call my wife. Listen, there, she was upset with that.
Be upset all
she was upset, but let me tell you something. She sent a message to my husband and he would automatically delete it. I'm like, what's she saying? What's she saying?
I wouldn't even read it.
He wouldn't even read it. He wouldn't even open it. He just deleted it.
I didn't give it a time of day.
He just,
I don't even want to know I see it.
right.
I delete it.
Delete.
If I
block.
tell you communicate with my wife, that's who you can communicate with.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line.
And it may be difficult. It may be difficult because I know, the posture of your husband's heart is like he wanted to be in a child's life. But let me tell you something. Even with, my husband's like the first child that we know about, even within the big gap that my husband was absent out of his life, can you believe that? Let me just give you all a story. So he was living with us, right? Being amazing, having an amazing time. And his mom was like, she told him that she was coming for him for the summer, for vacation. Well, anyways, she took him and, never brought him back to us. So it was a while before we heard from him again. And I think it was like 2 years we hadn't heard from him. And out of the blue, I got a message and he's trying to call. Got a call. He was on the phone and he started to call me Meltari because his mommy said, don't call me mom, right? All my boys call me mom and she didn't want, he only get one mother. So he started calling me Meltari, but I was fine, like whatever. But let me tell you something. When he get on the phone to his daddy, he was like, hi, daddy. Could I come live with you? Okay.
So, and that goes back to this. So this is the same Ms. Walker. So Ms. Walker, put it up.
Okay.
So this is continuation of the conversation. She says he's afraid that she's gonna withhold the child. Tell him I say, let her withhold him. Toya was answering your question even before you posted it. 2 years went by. She took him. He was over here comfortable with us. But because she couldn't manipulate me and she couldn't contact me, she spitefully came and took him. 2 years. I hear from him. The minute he talked to me, he was like, Daddy, I won't come with you. Why? Because when he was with me, I showed him love. Children know love.
Mm-hmm.
They know comfort. So if he stand his ground and she take the child, it get hurt because it hurt me. I wanted to know what my son was doing, right? But eventually, she can catch sense and she can come around, or the child can come to a point where he could be like, Mommy, why are you keeping me away from my daddy? What's
Mm-hmm.
wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my sons has said that to this day, like, Daddy, I don't know what she was doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what she was doing. Like, I wanted to be with you. She was trying to keep me, but I wanted to be with you. So, just tell him, don't worry about that. Stand your ground for your wife and your family and set your rules and stick with them. She
Yeah.
can come around and the child can come.
Yeah. Yeah. Another, one thing too, that if you're in a place where you may have to take it to court for joint custody, if that's something that you need to do and that's something that you want to do, make sure you lay the ground rules. Don't let it be up in the air.
Mm-mm.
How we gonna do it?
Mm-mm.
Get control. So someone said that, I am losing love for him as we've been separated over a year. We have emotional relationship and he supports me financially, but I'm tired, but I cannot move forward. I can testify to that. I can testify to being in a place where I wasn't loving my husband anymore. I mean, and mind you, I was like for years begging God, fix this, fix that. But I came to a place where I didn't love my husband anymore. And guess what? I had to pray, Lord, help me to love my husband again. Help me to love my husband again. I was listening. My husband, he was on my last nerve. I couldn't stand him. I was getting to the point where I didn't stand to be around him. And I said, but no, God, this is not what God wanted. And for all the time I was fighting to don't want to be around this man, I had to pray for me. Don't neglect that you need prayer yourself. You may have to pray for your strength. You may have to pray for the God to renew your mind and renew your relationship. Lord, help us to be intimate and love again. That's a valid prayer. Okay.
So
All right.
we are no, no more questions. I'm taking no more questions. So we are, and I'm super excited to share this with you guys. That we are renewing our vows. 21 years, December 18th, 2021 in Las Vegas. We're going to be streaming it so some of you can see it. And I want you guys to know that this vow renewal is all about God's power, is all about you wives. This isn't even about us celebrating 21 years because we could just celebrate that. But we having this event because we want people to see the glory of God and how we restored our marriage. And all five of my boys could be there. And all five of my boys excited to be there.
Excited.
And they love mom to death. You hear me? And that's what this mom. So they call their mother mommy, but they call her mom. And this broadcast today was to encourage anyone dealing with the other child to know that there is a positive outcome if you stand your ground, put God first, and put your family first.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of them living in this house, and this is a peaceful house, a peaceful home. Like they don't even act like they step kids to her at all. They respect her, they honor her. It's amazing. It is amazing. You hear me? It's amazing.
Yeah. So for those of you who, you may be in a place where you need some extra help with this particular topic, I want to encourage you to go ahead and book an initial consultation with me. I'm doing a fall special. I got my initial consultation at a discount. It is usually $85 for an hour, but for a short period of time, actually by tomorrow, it's expiring tomorrow. I'm doing a special rate at $65 for 45 minutes. So listen here, let's hop on a call, get a conversation. Let's see how that I can help you through this journey. I mean, as simple as just helping you to navigate how to make some decisions, posturing yourself and how to deal with this. You would be surprised on how counsel with someone who have been through what you have been through will help you along the way. I know that many of you guys are on here because you want to, move past this particular season in your life. And like my husband said, this is an encouragement to let you know that it's possible. Regardless of what the world is saying, it is possible for you to get through. You're going to hurt. You're going to get tired, but you still got to work through that. And you guys will be okay. Blessings from Melbourne, Australia. Love you, Marie. Thank you for coming on. So listen here, you guys. Go ahead and book an initial consultation today. Get it at a discounted rate. And I will see you guys.
21 years. 26 years together.
26 years and 21 years.
21 years married. December 18th.
Yes.
I can't wait to marry her again. Y'all don't know. I can't wait to renew them vows.
Yes.
To God be all the glory.
To God be all the glory. You guys have an amazing night. Have an amazing night. And you guys be encouraged. Be encouraged.
Tell them husbands to be encouraged.
Yes, be encouraged. Stand your ground. Be encouraged. No matter how down to the bottom you think you are, there is always a way up to the top. So I'll see you guys.
God bless y'all.
God bless y'all.